Available online at gotofet.com. Book your flights and hotel today. This ad is sponsored by the Grenada Tourism Authority.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Why not stay in, turn off the alarm clock, and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz? For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Golden Mass invites you to the launch of The Realm, home of the supreme gods and goddesses. Join us as we display our spectacular costume designs for Spice Mass 2020. March 7th, Spice Basket, featuring the best entertainers, our ambassadors, Natty and Tunda, Jab King, Chaos and LED, our hype masters for the night, Kevin Crown from New York, Select the Beast, and Smiley. Gates open at 9 p.m. Grab your tickets at Grenadian Optical, The Occasion, Big Barbershop, Double Up, and online at gotofed.com. Sponsored by Fast Cash, Swiftback, Body Image, Junction Bar and Grill, Monster, Jackpot City, Go to Fed, Party Grenada, and Boss FM. March 7th, Spice Basket. Welcome to the realm, to the realm, to the realm.
Are you planning an event or looking to rent tents? Then call the tent experts at Waggy T Tent Rentals. We rent tents for all occasions. Tents in different colors, styles, and 25 different sizes. From as little as 10 by 10 to as large as 100 by 40. Call us at 439-TENT. That's 439-8368. Or visit our office at Frequente Industrial Park, Grand and St. George. We are Grenada's tent people.
All right, so again, welcome to the program, and I'm happy to be with you for another evening. Now, earlier, the first thing I want to tell all you about the Royal Grenada Police Force will be conducting live ammunition training, and that's at the Pearls Airstrip Camp Raymond St. Andrew Pearls. All right, the following days. So, well, they had it today, and then they'll be having it tomorrow, Friday. And that will be between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Animal owners and the general public, you are advised to exercise extreme caution should use of the surrounding areas be an absolute necessity. And speaking of the police, the Royal Grenada Police Force, they'll be having their passing out ceremony of recruits course number 44, and that will be held on Friday 13 March. That should begin at around 3 p.m. at the Camp Celine Plainfield, St. George's. All right, so a new batch of officers will be hitting the streets, and you have to look out for them. All right, more officers, think nice. Okay. We often like to tell you of various job opportunities that we find on the market for those of you who might just be looking for a job. And we saw this very interesting position that's available, and that's from Grenlec. Applications are invited from suitably qualified persons, and that is to fill the following posts within the Customer Service Department: meter reader. The role and responsibilities to read and record all meter readings in accordance with the company's policies and procedures. Record and report all relevant faults identified during meter reading. Now, in terms of the qualification and experience, all right, a minimum of 4 CSEC or GCE subjects, including English language and principles of business or equivalent. Specialized training in meter service and customer relations, and familiarity with the functioning of electrical equipment such as meters, strong interpersonal and customer relations skills, and a valid driver's license and vehicle. And I would just add, you shouldn't be afraid of dogs. I'm just saying, once you could hold up a stick, then it should be good to go. Anyway, applications with the curriculum vitae should be submitted to GrenLec, right, no later than Friday, 13 March. The Human Resource Manager, the Grenada Electricity Services Limited, all right, and that's PO Box 381, St. George's, Grenada. You may also call 237 or 440-2097. If you want to send an email, hrd@grenlec.com. They also have a website, grenlec.com, for more details. So if you're looking for a work and ning, right, you have to check the modern ning, and you might be able to get like a work. All right, we are moving on. Earlier today, the funeral service of Sir Royston Hopkins took place. Big funeral, a lot of people, you understand, dignitaries, prime minister, and so on. Now we want to join our sister station WPG10 for that special report.
But Sir Royston Hopkins, who died last month at the age of 75, was hailed as a pioneer and trailblazer, a man who lived a lifetime as one of the Caribbean's foremost hoteliers.
He was an outstanding Grenadian and a Caribbean man, whose passing will leave a gaping void in the region's tourism and hospitality landscape.
A former head of the Caribbean Hotel Association, a former Caribbean Hotelier of the Year, and the owner of the world-class Spice Isle Beach Resort, Sir Royston was widely hailed at a funeral service at the Grenada Trade Center on Thursday.
All of us in Grenada have suffered a great loss with Royston's passing. He was a giant amongst us.
Thursday turned into a session of storytelling, punctuated by laughter and tears, as each recalled the memories of what all hailed as a most generous man.
He was compassionate and showed it even at unexpected times.
He's been preparing us for this day our whole lives, and I know we will be okay. And right after he passed, I said to him, Dad, it's okay.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell hailed his personal friendship with Sir Royston, who he said mentored him during his worst days in politics.
He always reminded me that he was there for me.
Dr. Mitchell said Sir Royston changed the developmental landscape of Grenada.
In my view, he has done more for this country that many will do collectively in their lifetime.
The eulogy was presented by Barbadian hotelier Peter Odell.
His charismatic and lively personality, coupled with a strong work ethic, were two of the main character traits that would become the building blocks for his success.
For all those who came, Thursday was a celebration of a Caribbean man who was quintessentially Grenadian.
Whenever you listen to the BBC, you know that they speak for the UK. Similarly, with the Voice of America, the USA. With us, we have Royston. He's our voice of Grenada.
Thank you very much. It was a well-attended service and one that was really sad as well. We have information from the president of the Grenada Football Association. In fact, he has sent out a letter. It says information has reached the office of the president of the Grenada Football Association, GFA, that in a recent match between two of the top teams taking part in the GFA Club Championship, that 4 players from St. John's Sports Club has assaulted the GFA and the FIFA match official, Clinton Daniel, resulting in a physical and emotional hurt to the highly qualified and internationally recognized match official. On behalf of the Executive Committee, I wish to confirm that swift and decisive actions will be taken against all of the offenders. The association will do all in its power to ensure that the stiffest penalties are imposed to all persons found guilty of these assaults. As a result, I have instructed the General Secretary to immediately engage the Disciplinary Committee on this matter and to ensure all the relevant supporting information is provided to the committee. I also wish to inform the general public that the matter involving players in the match FC Kamahan and Sunjets FC will also be addressed by the disciplinary committee, and likewise we wish that the disciplinary committee will send a strong message to future offenders. The game of football is a sport which provides for persons to display their talents and skills. Now, we do not condone any disruptive and indecent behavior, and therefore stricter penalties must be imposed. The GFA will be reviewing its disciplinary code with a view to impose harsher penalties on persons violating the laws of the game. The GFA stands firm in support of all match officials at all times, since their role as an adjudicator is one that facilitates the game to be played within the confines of the law of the game. It is for this reason we shall be providing any legal support needed for our match officials in these and future matters. We therefore call on all clubs and its officials to engage their players on education on the laws of the game, as well as sessions in anger management. The GFA also stands ready to provide support to all clubs in this regard. We'd also like to add that the players in question, with regards to the St. John players who are accused of the assault, have all been suspended indefinitely following a more thorough investigation by the disciplinary committee of that organization. We are moving on. All you, the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, they'll be hosting a prayer walk in support of International Women's Day of Prayer, and that will be happening tomorrow, commencing at 10 a.m. from the intersection with Motley Hill and River Road, St. George, en route to the town of St. George. All right, you are welcome to observe or even to participate. The general public is hereby informed that the quarterly liquor license session for the town and the parish of St. George will be held at the courthouse, St. George's, commencing at 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 25th March 2020. New applicants should apply early, as your premises must be inspected. New applicants, you are required to bring along 2 letters of recommendations from 2 licensed liquor dealers. All persons holding license in the name of deceased persons should apply for licenses in your own name. All old dealers should have their license renewed for the new year 2020. All new applicants should have your applications in the magistrate's office no later than 3:30 p.m. on Friday, 6 March 2020. How are we looking? We are moving on. Folks, we have received information from the police regarding a wanted man. And according to police, they need your help in locating Darren McSween, alias Kevon, 31 years. He's a carpenter of Munich, St. Andrew. Now, McSween is wanted for questioning in relation to offense or to the offense of arson. He is approximately 5 feet 8 inches tall, slim build, dark in complexion, with brown eyes and black hair. Anyone seen Darren McSween or has any information in relation to his whereabouts, you are asked to contact the Criminal Investigations Department, Grenville, at 442-7224 or 442-6563. Police emergency at 911. Police hotline at 444-1958, or you may also call the nearest police station. Alright, so please be guided or calling me. Or Bridget, you could call me, or you could pass by me, we eat some cricks and some corned beef and drink a little bit of coke or something, and then we'll go by the police when you're done, and you know, give up yourself, and then we can do them police and them they jet these days. You know what I mean? So yeah, right. So organize yourself because you know what's going on already. You know what I mean? I'm saying, you know what I mean? Alright, cool. We good. We're moving on. Well, yeah. How are we looking for time? We have more thing to tell all you, man. So Bishop Clyde Harvey has sent out a letter on the church's measures to combat the COVID-19, the coronavirus. They say no shaking of hands, no holding of hands. Then cannot business there, done it. You understand? You're trying to curb the whole business. And if all want to hold hands and things like problem. You understand? So let me see if I could show it up on the screen. I mean, it might be hard for all to see it because it's a long text that he sent out, you know. Let me see if all could watch a piece. I don't know if y'all could read it because, like I said, the text is really small in there. But basically, there are some guidelines that they expect you to follow. And one of those guidelines is that, according to the bishop, the virus is one of many viruses which we face every year, he says. People die every year from viruses, most often because of pre-existing conditions. We will beat this virus eventually, as we have beaten others. Hence, our first rule of thumb must be, do not panic. Be careful at all times. Secondly, practice basic hygiene at all times. The same hygiene we have been taught for years and must now make sure that we pass on to our children. Wash your hands frequently during the day, but do not waste water. The dry season is yet to come. 3. Persons with cold, cough, fever, and sneezing should remain at home until you have recovered. It has always been the teaching of the church that if you are seriously ill, you do not have an obligation to attend Mass. We must take special care with our children and the elderly, since they are the ones most at risk. Fourthly, the joining of hands at the Lord's Prayer is to be avoided until further notice. The lifting up one's posture is permitted. It says that, number 5, the form of the sign of peace must be reconsidered, but it is not to be dropped. A change of gestures should be encouraged, or should be enough, rather. No shaking of hands and hugging. One may look the person in the eye with a simple bounce or a clear bow. He says that some young people have suggested a foot shake. If they can manage it between the pews, then God bless them. Until further notice, communion should be given in the hand. The countries where the virus is already active, if they have not stopped Mass altogether, have determined this to be the safest way. Communion on the tongue and by intinction is therefore suspended. Now it says that the sharing of the cup is also suspended. Again, the sharing of the cup is also suspended, except in very small groups. Now it goes on to say, for number 7, if holy water is to be placed at the entrance of the churches, a few drops of bleach should be put in it, or it should be in bottles which allow people to sprinkle themselves. Alright, and you know, it goes on to say a lot more, and we have posted it on our page for persons to take a more closer look to this, but this applies to the Catholic Church, alright? As said, this was put out by Bishop Clyde Harvey, alright? And so we would like to encourage you to check out our pages for that. Yeah, they were talking about the foot knock, you know, ting your foot so. Jano. Right. Olivia, can we move on? the next thing that we have to tell all you about a recovered patient. They're not making it up. A recovered patient, and we are getting that from the international news, 36 years, has died of the disease 5 days after being discharged from hospital in Wuhan, and that's China, the epicenter of the virus. Would you imagine that? So I guess some of you were thinking that everything was okay, only to find out that it is not. All you. The next thing that we have to tell all you about, boy, we've got big football coming up, and you will be expected to support. All right, let me see if I can get that for you, boy. Yes, so we have it right here. Okay, so Grenada versus Martinique. All right, and that's going to be on the 25th of March 2020. Stadium gates would open at 5 p.m. and the games will start at 6 p.m. Q&A James Athletic Stadium. Your tickets are $20. Kids under 12, half price. And your ticket outlets are Chucky's Bar, Grenadian Optical, Max's Bar in Grenville, and online at gotofet.com. How are you looking? Earlier, they are also saying that contaminated cash may spread coronavirus, and that's according to the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization, they have advised people to wash your hands and stop using cash if possible, as the paper bills may help to spread the coronavirus. So all you, I don't need to say more on that. Please be guided accordingly. For those of you who have not yet shared the program, I'd like to encourage you to do so. From today on, we will be trying our best to beef up on our information that we can provide to you with regard to the coronavirus. We urge you during this entire thingy to please check out our page as often as possible, as we will be sharing with you tips, best practices, and data with regards to Grenada's state of readiness and Grenada's ability to withstand the threat of the coronavirus. Should we have a case, we will be going in high info mode. It therefore means that if Grenada gets a case of the coronavirus, we will be stepping up our broadcast in terms of to have more frequent information as to numbers and areas and so on as much as possible, so that you're not left guessing, and that's our commitment to you. Folks, what we want to do right now, we want to take a short break and return shortly.
We enjoy the but it can come to this. Have adequate storage. Grenada is the place to be June 5th to 7th for the highly anticipated Grenada Music Festival 2020, featuring two-time Grammy Award winners Kool and the Gang, Coco T, Romaine Virgo, Marcia Griffiths, Arturo Tappan, Crossfire, Nadia Batson, Wes Ways, Vaughn, and the Dancehall Emperor, Chavo Ranks. 3 nights of amazing music, great food, and pure Grenada hospitality. Grenada Music Festival 2020, June 5th to 7th, Quarantine Park, Grenada. Tickets available online at gotofet.com. Book your flights at hotel today. This ad is sponsored by the Grenada Tourism Authority.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
For me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Why not stay in? Turn off the alarm clock and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz. For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Golden Mass invites you to the launch of The Realm, home of the supreme gods and goddesses. Join us as we display our spectacular costume designs for Spice Mass 2020. March 7th, Spice Basket, featuring the best entertainers, our ambassadors, Natty and Tunda, Jab King, Chaos and LED, our hype masters for the night, Kevin Crown from New York, Select a Beast and Smiley. Gates open at 9 p.m. Grab your tickets at Grenadian Optical, The Occasion, Big Barbershop, Double Up, and online at GoToVet.com. Sponsored by Fast Cash, Swiftback, Body Image, Junction Bar and Grill, Monster, Jackpot City, Go to Vet, Party Grenada, and Boss FM. March 7th, Spice Basket. Welcome to the realm, to the realm, to the realm.
Are you planning an event or looking to rent tents? Then call the tent experts at Waggy T Tent Rentals. We rent tents for all occasions. Tents in different colors, styles, and 25 different sizes. From as little as 10 by 10 to as large as 100 by 40. Call us at 439-TENT. That's 439-8368. Or visit our office at Frequente Industrial Park, Grand and St. George. We are Grenada's tent people.
Awesome. All right, so folks, what we have for you now is a national report.
CBI committee welcomes IMF commendations on the program's impact on participating countries. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Thursday, March 5th, 2020, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The CEO of Grenada's Citizenship by Investment Committee, Mr. Percival Clouden, welcomes recent commendations by the International Monetary Fund on the impact of the regional CBI programs to the socio-economic structure of participating countries. The IMF, in a recent article, recognized the program as a significant contributor of revenue and reducing national debt. The article states, and I quote, "The liquidity injection to Caribbean economies creates significant societal and sovereign value. It helps to diversify the economies of those regions. It creates sustainable employment and eases the fiscal and monetary challenges that are faced by sovereign governments," unquote. Clouden says the spotlight the IMF has placed and continues to place on Grenada's program can rule out negative perceptions that there is no due diligence and transparency.
It will have a positive impact. More importantly, to the more industrial nations like the UK and the US. They look at our programs with a jaundiced eye, although they are doing the same thing. Because we are small island nations, they think that we engage in negative things like encouraging tax evasion and money laundering and things. And that is furthest from the truth. So much so that if one of our applicants do not disclose his source of funds, we send it back for clarification.
The Grenada Citizenship by Investment Program contributes approximately $90 million annually to the country's gross domestic product. It creates avenues for employment and improvement in infrastructure. This year, with 71 applications already processed from January to March, the annual contribution is expected to exceed the previous amounts.
This year, it will exceed 90 million. If things are going as we anticipate, I see more like 110 million coming from CBI. CBI's contribution to the central government. As of this date, we have about 71 applications.
The outlook for 2020 is positive. Clouden projects an increase in applications from 375 to 950.
We have 2 new projects coming online. The Lassages, the range project in Lassages, and the national project in Livera, St. Patrick's. Those are significant projects, and it's going to change the economic culture of the North, because people are going to be put to work. They're going to account for the Lassages project, going to hire about 300 persons, local persons, and that's in the construction phase. And then in the operations phase, another 250 permanent employment. Likewise, the Livera project in St. Patrick's, that's going to account for about 400 permanent employees and about 700 construction workers.
An emotional send-off for Sir Royston O. Hopkins KCMG, as hundreds turned out to pay their last respects to a man who made a significant contribution to the hotel industry in Grenada and beyond. Sir Royston, who described himself as one driven by excellence and prided himself in associating with those who were brighter than him, died late last month, weeks after a medical procedure. The service at the Packed Trade Center, which included musical tributes, was attended by the Governor-General, Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrenade, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and cabinet colleagues, St. Lucian Prime Minister Alan Chasney, and other regional colleagues. The homily was delivered by Pastor Stanford Simon, who called on all to live and lead a life of example, as Sir Royston did.
We sometimes think, and somehow we think, that we want to roll with God, but yet still we want to just sneak in the church and sneak back out. I mean, if you're coming and roll with me, I'm sure you want to sneak in and leave me fast. But if you're rolling with Mr. Royston and Mr. Butch and in a private jet, I'm sure you don't want to leave. I mean, in fact, he may have to tell you it's time to leave. The reality of it is, when you begin to roll with someone of class, you begin to become class yourself. If you do not understand class, you learn class by liming with class. You understand class by rolling with class.
Sir Royston has been widely recognized and has received many local, regional, and international accolades for his contribution to tourism. Less than 1 year ago, he was presented with an Outstanding Achievement Award at the inaugural Ministers' Tourism Awards. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell remembered his dear friend as one committed to the development of others.
When I was widely criticized over any policy or perceived personal issues, on those occasions he did not call as a businessman but as a friend. He always reminded me that he was there for me. He also cared deeply about his country. And he worked tirelessly every day in service for this beautiful land. It was his duty and a passion.
Sir Royston's childhood friend, Barbadian tourism veteran Peter Odell, delivered the eulogy and shared fond memories of his friend.
He was a passionate man, and his life reflected this. He loved his toys, cars, watches, and pens, from Mont Blanc to Cartier. He collected them with boyish zeal. His collection includes over 24 luxury automobiles, with two notable favorites being his Bentley Bentayga and his Maserati Jeep. He enjoyed travel and reveled in many experiences, from the gondolas of Venice, camel riding in Africa, and driving his Bentley Honor through the British countryside and across Europe. I am sure that I speak for everyone when I say what a privilege and honor it has been to know this charismatic, handsome, and generous human being. May God grant him eternal peace.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Grenada's #1 track and field event is back. The Inter-Secondary School Championships is back at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. You must be there. Experience the intense rivalry between athletes of our secondary schools on the track and in the field. Blame yourself if you missed the first ever Republic Bank sponsored Intercall 2020. Blame yourself if you miss a day of exciting action on the track. Be there every day, day 1, 2, and 3. The 53rd Intercall Championships takes place on March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd, starting at 9 a.m. each day. Come, let's celebrate the inaugural Republic Bank Intercall. Come out, families. Come out, past students. Come out, school-based supporters, for the return of competition on the track and in the field, because Intercall is back.
Welcome back. Germany's new ambassador to Grenada, Her Excellency Ute Koenig, said she is pleased with the bilateral relationship between Germany and Grenada. On Thursday, March 5th, she presented her credentials to the Governor General of Grenada, Her Excellency Dame Cécile Lagrenade. Since 1974, Grenada has benefited from diplomatic relations with Germany. Her Excellency Koenig said she will seek to strengthen the bilateral efforts between the two countries.
I hope that we will cooperate closely in the future. My minister has created an alliance for multilateralism, because we always think that the problems of this world are too great for a country to face them alone. And in this, our German cooperation is not just done through bilateral mechanisms, but many German cooperation projects are also done through CARICOM, because regional cooperation is also an issue for this region. I learned in my brief stay in the Caribbean that all these islands share a lot of common history, of common bonds, that you have many links, family, friends, business connections, which make this region unique in its access to risks of the world. I am happy to contribute in the coming years to strengthen the relations between Grenada and Germany. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Governor General Her Excellency Dame Cécile Lagrenade says Grenada is still reaping the benefits of diplomatic relations with Germany.
Our region is being severely affected by the devastating effects of climate change. Through the German Ministry of the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety, assistance has been provided under the International Climate Change Agreement to the Grenada Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and the Environment to support projects aimed at alleviating the effects of climate change. Grenada has also benefited from the GIZ with assistance in export development. Local manufacturing companies were afforded the opportunity to participate in study tours, regional seminars, and trade fairs with the assistance of the GIZ. Your Excellency, your country's continued generous contribution to the European Development Fund, through which Grenada receives developmental aid, has also assisted our country tremendously. We truly appreciate this assistance that has been given over the years.
Finally, in the news, the Ministry of Agriculture encouraged increased production with the hosting of a root crop training at the Maribo Agricultural Station for farmers and field officers. We get more in this Karima Lewis report.
increase in production and minimizing importation. That was the reason behind a root crop training held at the Mirabo Agricultural Station on Wednesday. Close to 100 farmers and agriculture field officers convened at the site with the objective of leaving with information on new planting methods, as the training provided participants with the recommended cultural practices for root crops grown in Grenada. Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Yolan Bean Horsford, implored on the participants to never be afraid of training.
Training is so important. Sometimes we feel that we know everything. As farmers, we've been farming for all these years. And we have all the techniques in the world. We stick things in the ground, and we do our thing and things grow. But these days, we have new techniques. We have smart climate practices that we can use, and you get things double than when you used to plant before with your old techniques. So this morning, this is so very important for you.
Grenada, for a number of years, has been importing root crops. Chief Extension Officer Randolph Shears says importation should be minimized after this training.
It's very embarrassing for us, as our cultural nation, to be importing, stuff from neighboring islands. In St. Vincent, it's well known that we import, not year-round, but from time to time, root crops from St. Vincent. And these root crops, we can grow them here. As the minister said, we have the right soil, we have the farmers, we have the technique, we have the ideal weather conditions, we have excellent varieties, and we can produce these root crops right here in Grenada.
The one-day session, which was held in collaboration with the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, took on a group-oriented approach, as participants were placed in 4 groups: yams, cassava and sweet potatoes, tanya, edos and dasheen, and ginger and turmeric. Participants spent 44 minutes at each of the stations and were fully exposed to all categories of the training, which was facilitated by agronomists and extension officers within the ministry. 3 participants, Tevin Alexander, Craig Hazard, and Brian Hazard, are grateful for the methods they were exposed to.
I learned new techniques how to grow some of the crops that I grow. Yeah, so like yam and ginger and cassava. Some of the techniques I learned, it's not like I used to use that. I used to use old different techniques before, but now that I know new techniques how to get bigger yields, I would definitely put that into work.
As a farmer, we tend to stick to the traditional method of doing stuff. So I feel that this training today, it will give us some highlights how to do things in a more technical manner, a more modern manner. And the technical knowledge you have gathered here today can help us to increase our yield, to get better yields, nicer production.
The training will benefit me in many ways. I learn new techniques, modern techniques, a lot of things I didn't know, especially with the potato and the yam cuttings. I learn the new technique, and I think it will help me do my farming better and more effectively.
Shears says the ministry is tasked with ensuring that the practices learnt are in fact implemented by the farmers.
The farmers and officers on the ministry will be here to be part of this training. And the role of the officers after today's training is to be out in the field encouraging the farmers to adopt these practices so that the production can be improved and the productivity can also be improved as it relates to root crop production.
For the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Karima Lewis.
Thank you, Karima. That story just ended the national report for today, Thursday, March 5th. Let's recap the top story. CBI committee welcomes IMF commendations on the program's impact on participating countries. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for listening. Until next time.
Alrighty, and that's it right there. I'm just getting information about 2 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Martinique. Again, we are just receiving data on 2 confirmed cases, yes, of coronavirus in Martinique. The cases were confirmed positive at the Martinique University Hospital on Thursday afternoon, according to French media reports. All right, we probably will be able to tell you more about that at a later time, maybe tomorrow, God's willing. Let's say hello to Zaka, Mishi, Charlene, Eunice, Noreen, Raul, Let, Trevelyn, Camille, Joyous, and Kireen, Suzette, Charmaine, Mom, Lintona, Mike, and Rena, Cynthia, Muriel, Mr. McQueen, Zillan, and everyone else. I'd like to say hello to you. Thank you for joining us on the program tonight. All right. Hey, Dora, I'd like to say hello to you as well. Esther and Lisa, blessings to you. And Monica, I see that you're there as well. We'd like to say thank you for viewing, and may God richly bless you. Folks, that's as far as we can go for the program for tonight. I'd like to say thank you for watching, and we will touch base again at a later time. Let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We all say, Ja! No! Good night, everyone. May God bless you and your family. We'll touch base again. Tomorrow is going to be Friday, and so we'll have a lot to tell you about then. God bless you.